to deliver.
Kate Osborne.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And it's an honour to follow my honourable friend, the member for Wirral West. This is a budget that has nothing to do with levelling up or building back better. It's the same old Tory economic policy that will squeeze people on middle incomes whilst giving a tax cut to the super rich. How can the Chancellor justify cutting taxes for the super rich whilst at the same time increasing national insurance contributions? The consequence of this will be that a person on an average income can expect their real income to fall next year once these tax increases and inflation are taken into account. Incomes will fall alongside rising energy prices, rising council tax, the withdrawal of furlough, continued use of the disgraceful fire and rehire practice, and the axing of the £20 universal credit uplift. This budget does nothing to mitigate these issues. What it does do is risk leaving the vast majority behind in terms of pay and the public services that we all rely on. What we should have seen from this budget is reforms to create a fairer tax system where the wealthiest in our society pay a fairer share through a wealth tax that would help fund public investment to create good green jobs and a net zero economy. Instead, we have seen no action on the climate emergency. In fact, the Chancellor has opted to needlessly cut taxes on domestic flights, which during the same week as COP26 is just astounding, as is the Prime Minister's decision to fly to Glasgow rather than to use the rail network. While there were some changes to the Chancellor's budget, which will have some impact on income, such as the reduction in the universal credit taper and the rise in the minimum wage to £9.50 an hour, it will sadly not be enough, and what we should be seeing is the public sector pay freeze truly ended with an above-inflation rise and the minimum wage lifted to the level of a real living wage that people can survive on. And despite claims of levelling up, this budget offers nothing to get our key public services back to where they were before 2010. The government have said that spending on schools will return to 2010 per pupil spending levels by 2025, which means that there has been no extra investment in our children's education in 15 years, despite what the Secretary of State said earlier today. Even the funding planned for the NHS falls well below what has been delivered in the past and what many believe is needed now. Since 2010, the government have put in less than half of the historic rate of the 3.6% NHS spending growth per year since its creation. After over a decade of cuts and the pandemic, our services are under enormous strain, and it is showing. Our public services are crucial for improving people's everyday lives, and they are key to creating a more equal and just society. Madam Deputy Speaker, this budget has been a missed opportunity to increase living standards for the many, to improve our public services and invest in our communities. It does very little for the North East and constituencies like Jarrow, where levelling up is still something that we have yet to see any evidence of. Thank you.
Rachel Hopkins.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I refer to my register